So Bellator 288 is coming up this weekend, and it's going to be a very good card. I've done a lot of research for this card, because if you don't know, I make videos for another YouTube channel called UFC Picks, and I've actually done a Bellator YouTube video on that channel, so I've done so much research for this card. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a good one. I believe I'm picking every favourite. I think there's an underdog in here, but I'm going to give you guys all the reasons for why I'm picking these guys. So this is a fight I'm skeptical of. Corey Mogenberg taking on Vladimir Gueva. Corey Mogenberg actually had a very successful amateur record, and he also lost to Brennan in his debut, and then he went on to fight Logan Woods, and Logan Woods has gone on to be a good prospect. Thomas Peterson we know is a good prospect, and he, as I said, he had a 9-1 amateur record, so he's actually very experienced in MMA. But the reason why I'm picking Gueva to win this one here, in 2018, he was the IBJJF super heavyweight, no gi silver medalist. He got second in the super heavyweight, no gi blue belt, or brown belt, sorry, championships. And I believe since then it was 2018, so maybe he has progressed up a belt, but we know that he's got legitimate grappling, and I believe that training under AKA is going to really help him transition into MMA. Just a little bit of a red flag though, that this is his first professional fight ever. We don't know what he's going to look like for sure, but I think he should be able to beat Corey Mogenberg in this one here by submission. A lot of people going by KO. Mogenberg has lost by KO quite a few times, but Gueva, I think he's going to lock up a sub in this one here early on into the fight. Isaiah Hokit taking on Matthias Nadeau. I'm picking Isaiah Hokit to win this one here, and I'm picking him to win by decision or late finish. Matthias Nadeau, he's okay, like he's pretty good. He actually tried to fight at 135 pounds in his last one, and him and his opponent both missed weight. He ended up winning by submission. He also won against Felipe Martinez-Doniz by submission as well, in a fight which he showed some pretty terrible striking defense. To be fair, Felipe Martinez was able to land almost at will against him, which is scary, but Nadeau got it to the ground. He got a submission pretty quickly in that fight. Hokit, a very good wrestler. He does have a very nice wrestling background. He was brought onto Bellator to come in super early on in his career. In fact, he made his debut for Bellator against a 2-2 guy. He lost that fight. He was probably meant to win it, and then he beat a guy that he that was with a losing record. Step up in competition for Hokit, but I think he should be able to pass. He's going to be a much bigger fighter as well in the matchup as well, which is worth noting here. We move on. Lead Anderson taking on Rob Finnical. Lead Anderson, in my opinion, should win this one here. He's undefeated as an amateur and undefeated as a pro, and he had a very good amateur record as well. It was 3-0 as an amateur, and then he's gone 2-0 as a pro. He spent 4 years away from MMA. He took about a 4-year hiatus off, but then he was in the Combat Jiu-Jitsu World Championships. He won a couple bouts, lost a couple bouts, but he was there and he won. So you know there's a good grappler. I think he's going to get a submission over Finnical. I believe both of his wins are by... Sorry, one of his wins is by submission. One of them is by close decision. And he does have a few wins as well. We're super young as well, only 24 years old. Anderson, only 24. And a 4-year layoff is kind of crazy, because that means that his pro debut was when he was 20 years old. Jordan Newman versus Jaden Talker. I believe Jordan Newman was something like a National Division 3 wrestling champion or something like that. And I think he was like a Division 3 Wrestler of the Year. I'm going to throw that out there. I could be wrong. I did my research on this guy. But I know that he's a good prospect training out of Rufus Sport as well. He's definitely the guy that Bellator want to win. He had a pretty decent... I think he only had a one-fight amateur career, actually. And he won it easily, and then since then Bellator's picked him up. They're building him up as a prospect, and he's just fighting increasingly difficult competition. I think he's going to beat Jaden Talkner here, and should be able to get it done. I'm picking ground and pound TKO or decision, just using that wrestling base that he's got. Sullivan Corley versus Riddick. This is a very good fight, because both of these guys, all of their wins are in the first round. Riddick has a couple of KOs, couple of submissions, but they're all in the first round. Sullivan Corley, 4 wins by KO. 4 wins by KO in the first round, and he's got that win over Ben Parrish, the big tuna, who took the O off another prospect that Bellator was trying to build up. He then fought Tyson Jeffries in a fight which he was probably supposed to win, and in my opinion he's supposed to win this one here. Riddick is almost 39 years old. He's a big guy with power, and he does have a submission on his record as well, but I think Corley is going to knock him out in the first round. He hasn't fought for 3 years as well, which is crazy. Like, where do they find these guys? Bellator scouts must be onto it. Finding guys that haven't fought for 3 years with a 3-0 record to build up their other guys is crazy to me. But Corley, he's going to win by KO in the first round, in my opinion. Now, Lucas Brennan versus Nick Calavera. Lucas Brennan should win this one here. Nick Calavera has a very good record of 5-1, but not against the same level of competition than Brennan has, you know what I mean? We're looking at a 1-1, 1-0, 7-12, 0-0, guys, in the last year, but he has fought 4 times in the last year. I like it when people fight often, but I'm going to be going with Lucas Brennan, 7-0, and he has been fighting good competition, you know. He last fought a guy that was 4-2 in Soto, 5-4, 4-3, 6-4. Okay, maybe not the best competition, but better competition than Talavera's been fighting anyway. I think Brennan's going to get a submission in this one here. A lot of people picking him to win. I'm picking him to win. I think he gets it done. Archie Colgan now taking on Jesse Hanam once again. In my opinion, this is a fight where Archie Colgan should win. Archie Colgan's the guy being built up here. I think it might low-key be a little bit of a step down in competition. Jesse Hanam, I believe from the top of my head, he had a 6-5 amateur record before becoming a professional, but he's coming off. He did a 6-5 amateur record, but he's coming off a 1.5 year hiatus where Archie Colgan's been relatively active. This is his 3rd fight in 2022. He's got a win over Dylan Mantello in Eagle FC, which is a good win. Mantello's a pretty good fighter. I think Mantello actually bounced back off that loss as well with a decision win himself over Dennis Hughes, who was 7-4 at the time. Good win. Well-aged win. Knocked out Brian Neuro. I think he might be able to finish off Jesse Hanam in this one here, so I'm going to be going with Colgan by finish at some point in the fight. Jaylon Bates versus Jornal Lugo. Underrated fight. I'm telling you guys, this is such a good fight. It might not be the most exciting because both guys do like to grapple. But Jaylon Bates is 9-0 as an amateur. Undefeated amateur record. And then he's gone 6-0 as a professional. And he's taken on Jornal Lugo, who was undefeated until his last fight against Danny Sabatello. A guy who's really building himself up. He's kind of brash. He's kind of obnoxious. He's fighting for the belt. You know, that's the level of competition that Jornal Lugo lost to. In my opinion, though, in hindsight, Sabatello should have been a guy that UFC picked up after Dana White's Contender Series, because this guy's hilarious. This guy's got a big mouth, he likes to talk, he likes to sell himself. He would have been a good fit in the UFC. But, yeah, Lugo's just fought much better competition as a professional, in my opinion. He even had a pretty good amateur record as well. He did lose to Ryan Kusei, but Ryan Kusei, I believe, is an undefeated professional himself. Yeah, Bates 6-0. Just not fighting the same level of competition, and he had a very close fight with Mark Coates, who was a guy that was brought in for Bates to probably win against. Lugo, in my opinion, should win. High level of competition, and it's a prospect versus prospect fight. Speaking of prospects, you got Killer's Motor taking on Yoro Pacheco, and I wanted to pick Yoro Pacheco in this matchup here, but I was watching his fights, and it seems like he can get pressured and taken down a bit. I know that might not necessarily be Killer's Motor's game, but I feel like if Killer's Motor needs to lean on it, he can. And I just like the Bellator experience out of Killer's Motor. I like what I'm seeing out of him a little bit more than the undefeated Pacheco. If Pacheco wins, he really could be a great addition to the roster. But I really do feel like Killer's Motor is the guy that should win this one here. Favorite on the betting odds, underdog on the prediction rate, I guess. There, Motor on 22% picking him. We move on. Aman Shafi Aliyev taking on Connor Fallon, and I'm picking Aliyev here. He does have that Dagestani style. He literally trains out of Club Abdulmanap Nurmagomedov school, and he's taking on Connor Fallon with a 16-7 record, but not against the best competition, really. You know, 5-4, 6-2, 10-9, and he lost to Adam Asenza, who was on The Ultimate Fighter, I believe. The Ultimate Fighter Season 25 with Calvin Gastelum. But yeah, Aliyev 8-0 against not the greatest competition. You know, 8-8 opponent at Eagle FC a few months ago. 4-0 opponent at UAE Warriors. 5-2 at Eagle FC, and just other guys like that. So I think Aliyev should win. He does have that wrestling style. I think he's going to win by decision just because of the style. But maybe he can get a ground and pound TKO over an almost 37-year-old Connor Fallon. This fight I struggled with a lot. You've got Otto Rodriguez taking on Kasan Askabov, and both of these guys' records are dodgy. Sorry, Otto Rodriguez come back after like a 4-year layoff and beat a guy that was 19-2, which is just insane. And Kasan Askabov hasn't fought for 2 years. Every time Kasan Askabov has taken a step up in competition, he's lost. And before that, you know, just the competition level ain't that great. And the same sort of situation. Kasan Askabov has fought 5 times in 5.5 years. Otto Rodriguez has fought 5 times in 7 years. These guys are not fighting at all. It's so confusing because that means that Kasan Askabov built up I'm such an idiot. An 18-1 record. before the age of 22, and then he just stopped fighting. I don't know what happened. Maybe he had to commit to life, like maybe he had to like work a job or something like that. I'm not too sure. But Askubov, he's fought 5 times in 5.5 years, and he's almost 28 years old. So that tells you this guy was super active early on in his career, early on in his life, really, and has slowed down a lot. I think that he is going to beat Otto Rodriguez here if he plays it safe. He is a good fighter. He is actually a fighter that I believe was rumoured to be potentially being signed to the UFC. But Bellator ended up snatching him up. I think Askubov should win this one here. Rodriguez, though, potentially a live underdog because he does have that really good win recently against Carlos Augusto da Silva. But we move on, man. It's a tough fight. When this fight is amazing, I'm really, really excited for this fight. Roman Ferrado taking on Levan Chikali. Roman Ferrado, 8-0, 8 KOs. Levan Chikali, 10-2, 10 wins. 9 wins by KO, and this guy's got heat in the hands, man. This guy started off with like a 6-fight first round KO streak, 8 fight first round KO streak, so many first minute KOs. Look at that, first minute KO. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 first minute KOs in his first 8 professional fights. That is ridiculous. I know the level of competition isn't great, but that is absolutely insane. And yeah, he has slowed down a lot when he has taken a step up in the competition. And that is why I think Roman Ferrado will win this one by knockout, 8-0 by KO. I believe all of his wins are early on in the fight as well. Let's have a quick look here. I know he's 8-0 with 8 KOs, but I'm pretty sure they're all pretty early on into the fight as well. They're all in the first round apart from 2. This fight might not last long. I like Ferrado. I think he is going to touch the chin of Chikali and end up with a knockout there. Tyrell Fortune taking on Daniel James. I'm picking Tyrell Fortune here. Daniel James has fought a decent level of competition over at ACA. But I think he's going to lose to Tyrell Fortune here. He's almost 41 years old. But the crazy thing about Daniel James is the level of competition's great. You know, like the guys that he's beaten is awesome. The one guy that he lost to recently, he lost to that guy, but one of his losses somewhat recently was by disqualification over an LFA. And I think that Tyrell Fortune is going to win, though. He has a very good prospect for Bellator. Bellator have built this guy up as a heavyweight prospect. He beat Raheem Cleveland pretty easily, who was a very experienced fighter. He lost to Linton Vassell, which was a step up in competition from the previous guys he fought. He destroyed poor Matt Mitrione. I think he should be able to beat Daniel James here. James is going to be a powerful, scary guy. 82-inch reach, 6'6" in height, massive guy. But I think that Tyrell Fortune should get it done inside the distance here. I like Tyrell to win this matchup. Now, Daniel Weichel taking on Tamir Khizriev. I'm going to be picking Tamir Khizriev, but I think the line is taxed. The line is taxed a lot. Because I think Weichel could be a very live underdog. This guy's super experienced. 55 professional fights. I know that does come with a lot of miles on the clock, you know, but I feel like Khizriev is going to get this one done. He has fought good competition. He coming off a win over a 7-1 guy, 9-3, 2-0, 6-0, and that 6-0 guy was Bibert Tumanov, who's a very good prospect himself. And I just think that Khizriev should be able to utilize his game plan here against Daniel Weichel, wrestle him up against the cage, and eventually work him to a decision win. But if Weichel wins, I will not be surprised whatsoever. I'm still picking Khizriev, though, to win a decision. I don't feel good about it. I want to pick Weichel, but I just can't do it. I'm picking Khizriev to win this matchup. We move on to a very strange title fight because Patricio Pitbull and Usman Nurmagomedov. It's very interesting that they've ended up in a title fight together because for the first reason is Usman Nurmagomedov has not beaten anyone ranked as a professional. Sorry. What am I on about? He's never beaten anyone ranked in Bellator, and Patricio Pitbull spent a lot of his time recently in Ryzen, and then his brother Patricio Pitbull vacated the lightweight title so his brother could fight for it against Peter Queally. He won the title and in a rematch against Queally, and now he's defending it against Usman Nurmagomedov. But I can just see Usman Nurmagomedov beating Patricio Pitbull in this one here, man. And what's so crazy about this fight is maybe Usman Nurmagomedov beats Patricio Pitbull, and then maybe Patricio Pitbull moves up, and Usman Nurmagomedov beats him too. I just think Usman's that guy. Like, I know he's beaten no one ranked, but this guy is genuinely good. This guy's getting finishes in the first round, which is not something you can say about a few other guys with his style. And I can just see him beating Patricio Pitbull. I'm picking round 3 or round 4 submission. I think he's going to grind on Patricio Pitbull for the first 2 rounds and then search for the submission after that. So give me Nurmagomedov by submission in the 3rd or the 4th round. Vadim Nemkov taking on Corey Anderson in a rematch. I picked Vadim Nemkov the first time. I'm picking Corey Anderson the second time. Corey Anderson was beating Vadim Nemkov pretty clearly. He was taking him down. He was landing really good ground and pounds. And in that ground and pound, he landed a strike to which he put so much force into it. Like, he moved his whole body. And then they clashed heads on the ground. It was a little bit odd. It was a weird situation. So now they're rematching. But I think that Corey Anderson has laid out the blueprints to defeat Vadim Nemkov. And because it's Corey Anderson gonna follow that blueprint that he's literally laid out himself, I think he's going to. And I think he's going to win the fight that way. I think he's going to take down Vadim Nemkov. I think he's going to ground and pound him for quite a bit of the fight. I think he's going to end up TKOing Vadim Nemkov in the third round, either by ground and pound or even a knockout on the feet after working Vadim Nemkov on the ground. Vadim Nemkov got really good wins. I mean, he knocked out Ryan Bader, but so did Corey Anderson. And I just think that Corey Anderson should win this one inside the distance. I think he's going to use his wrestling and take down Nemkov. He's already carved out the path to victory, and as long as he follows it, I think he's going to be good. That was a super quick video. I apologize if I talked too fast. I just wanted to get it out super quick. And let me know what you think. I think this is going to be a great card. So I'll see you in the next one.